Hi, y'all! I'm Rissy, molecular biologist and skincare-loving weirdo. Today begins the first installment of a series on everybody's hydrating friend, sheet masks. In this two-part series, we're gonna explore the history of sheet masks, the utility of sheet masks. We're even gonna get into some controversies. Woo! Spicy takes! And then in the second part, I'm gonna teach you every single tip, trick, or hack I have learned in my years of rubbing weird shit on my face. To begin, let's talk history. The modern sheet mask as we know it, which is a vaguely face-shaped piece of fabric that is soaked in a hydrating essence, came to life in Korea in the latter part of the 20th century. And from there, absolutely exploded in popularity. Face masks of the kind that you wash off of your face had been around for a long, long time. And while it's tempting to think that sheet masks are just some kind of newfangled thing, predecessors of sheet masks have been around for quite some time. Back in the early part of the 20th century, a woman came up with the idea of a toilet mask. Okay, I'm sorry. Fair warning, I'm like a 12-year-old on the inside. In France, especially in the 1800s and 1900s, a lady's toilet meant she's at her vanity doing makeup and perfume and skincare and all that sort of stuff. So that's why perfume is eau de toilette or toilet water, which nowadays you generally wouldn't go around saying, I love rubbing toilet water on myself. That digression aside, toilet masks, not nearly as horrible as they sound, or were they? So this toilet mask, I'm gonna pop a picture up, was a ridiculous thing, and it was basically like a face shield meant to hold some forms of skincare on your face overnight. Apparently they were absolutely horrifying to try and sleep with. There's a reason why toilet masks did not end up taking the world by storm. But the idea was there. That idea that a thing that kind of looked like a face on top of your face, when combined with skincare, could actually produce some favorable results. Fast forward 100 years and here we are. Today, a sheet mask is not a permanent piece of equipment that you put on top of your face with all of its skincare on to try and sleep with. You take some kind of absorbent fabric, cotton or silk, Cupro, rayon, they even have masks made out of gel. Soak it in a combination of humectants and water, package it up, and then slap it on your face. Let it sit there for as long as you can tolerate or until it falls off, and voila! Moisture. That is the point of the sheet mask, is to get moisture into your skin. There are lots of different types of sheet masks out there. Seaweed and platinum and snail and aloe and pretty much everything under the sun and all of God's creatures have at some point been put into a blender and pureed so that they can be made into a sheet mask. But the basic model is for hydration. And that's why almost all sheet masks have a very, very similar formula, which is basically just water plus humectants. And humectants are any kind of moisturizer that operates by trapping water molecules in your skin. So that's glycerin, that's hyaluronic acid in all of its different forms and molecular weights, that's beta-glucan, aloe juice can be a humectant. There's all sorts of things that can function that way. But the point is that you put them on your face and then something goes on top to keep that moisture from evaporating away. And the idea, of course, is that having that mask on top to hold everything in gives you extra time for all that humectant goodness to absorb into your skin. If you're curious about how your skin naturally does this, I'll put a link to my video on sort of the basics of human skin up in the card and down below. Now, what is that moisture gonna do for your skin? Isn't it just like applying another layer of lotion? Is there any actual usefulness to sheet masks, or is it just skintertainment? On one hand, there are a lot of people who think that sheet masks are just garbage designed to part you from your money in exchange for doing pretty much nothing for your face. Not only are those people wrong, but their mama done raised them wrong. Some people will say that sheet masks are something to do for fun, not anything that has any serious skincare benefits. I mean, how could it? It's a single-use item. And speaking of single use, doesn't that mean they're polluting the environment? Are we destroying the planet with our addiction to sheet masks? The answer to that is no and fuck no. Here's the thing. Large corporations really love wielding people's good intentions regarding the planet and the environment against you. They've got us all consumed with guilt that every single choice that we make is somehow gonna burn the world down around us, when really it's agricultural waste and climate change caused by companies like Coca-Cola, not any individual decision that you are making that is what is destroying the planet. So let's be clear about that. Any personal decision that you make is not going to have that kind of impact. The other thing is, what is a sheet mask made of? 99.9% of the time, it is a biodegradable material. So yes, when you take it off of your skin and put it in the trash, it is filling up landfills, but it's filling up landfills with stuff that's gonna return to the earth. Things biodegrading and building up more biomass for worms to eat, which turns into grass for goats to eat, and then the goats become large enough for lions to eat, is part of the great circle of life in which we are all interconnected. What I'm saying here is sheet masks fill a very useful ecological niche. I mean, not really, but just want to reinforce the idea that there's nothing inherently wrong with a sheet mask. The packaging is usually some kind of plastic. Okay, but in countries where plastic recycling is actually taken seriously, you can usually recycle these. The problem with plastic recycling is not necessarily that it can't be done, but that so many places in the world don't have the kind of infrastructure that allows you to properly recycle plastics. But it can be done. Aside from environmental concerns, a lot of Western dermatologists will say that sheet masks are bad for you because they clog your pores. How is that shit gonna clog your pores when you only have it on for 15 minutes? The occlusive part of the sheet mask only stays for as long as you have it on your face, and the rest of it is generally very light, moisturizing humectants, many of which not only have pretty much no chance of clogging your pores, but also are components of your skin. Hyaluronic acid is something we naturally have in our skin. Glycerin is not just an amazing humectant, but it also is healing. This idea that a sheet mask is gonna clog your pores, it's like, no, it might temporarily hold things inside your pores, but those things had to be there to begin with. As I'm gonna get into in part 2, sheet masks can actually be one of the most powerful weapons in your arsenal against acne. I've personally experienced this and I'm so excited to talk about it. Okay, so if sheet masks aren't destroying the environment and they're not ruining your skin, well then surely they're absolutely useless. Again, they're something for pampering, but they don't have any long-lasting effects on your skin, so why should anybody bother? Most notably, Paula Begoun of the skincare brand Paula's Choice gave an interview where she just breathed fire on the idea of sheet masks, and so many people listened to her. This is going to be kind of a lengthy digression, and at some point I'm probably going to want to make a video on where you should and shouldn't get your skincare advice from. Paula Begoun is not a scientist, and she's not a dermatologist. She is a very well-informed layperson. Now, she has a lot more information than your average skincare enthusiast because she's been running a company that makes skincare products for a long time. But if Paula Begoun were a homeless person, we would say she was crazy. Since she is fabulously wealthy, we say that she is eccentric. This is very obvious when she talks about certain skincare ingredients like ethanol, which is a drying alcohol. Part of the problem with being a well-informed enthusiast but who's not a scientist is that you don't necessarily know how to think about information that you get in the way that a scientist would. What am I talking about? Well, Paula has a serious beef with ethanol. And why is that? Because she read some papers showing that if you dump ethanol onto cells in a dish, it will kill them. However, if you've watched my series on sunscreen, you know that just because something kills cells in a dish, that does not mean it will kill the cells on your face. They're just cells in a dish. They're not part of your skin. They're literally subsisting on a diet of fetal bovine serum, which is just as gross as you think. Cell culture is disgusting. It's also way more of an art than a science, but that's a topic for another video entirely. So Paula read that and she just kind of assumed, like, okay, so because that does it to cells in a dish, that's gonna do it to the skin on your face, and therefore all products containing ethyl alcohol are the fucking devil. And that's not true. I don't like products that have ethanol in them because they can dry out the upper layers of my skin, but that's me. That doesn't mean that when I used a product with ethanol in it that my face literally melted off, Raiders of the Lost Ark style, okay? Ethanol does not do that, and there have been a lot of studies showing that products with ethanol are not going to melt your face off. But Paula doesn't seem to take any of those seriously. Probably because she doesn't understand the difference in experimental technique. I'm gonna pop up this quote.
I hate sheet masks. They're a waste of time. Even a well-formulated one is a waste of time. Ingredients are gonna penetrate based on their molecular size, nothing else. Having that sheet on your face does not form enough of a barrier. It's bullshit that the sheet helps ingredients absorb. We barely have enough time to clean our teeth, let alone spend 20 minutes with our faces cold and wet. You have all the things you need to get done to have a good life and a nice dinner, but you also probably have a good-looking partner in bed waiting for you. What are you at that sink for? Fucking get into bed and relax. I would rather you floss your teeth than bother with a sheet mask.
First of all, you can tell she doesn't know shit about fuck in this because she starts babbling about how sheet masks are wasting valuable time that you could be using to cuddle your partner and floss your teeth. That is true of literally any other kind of skincare or any other pampering that you might do to yourself, that it's technically wasted time. People have been telling women that their interest in skincare and makeup is frivolous for so long, and kind of a slap in the face to get it from somebody like Paula Begoun. Although, I suspect that a lot of Paula's resistance to the idea of sheet masks is sour grapes. For a long time, she was pretty much the only person in Western skincare who was like, hey, maybe we should focus on hydrating and moisturizing the face and wearing sunscreen every day. A lot of people didn't listen to her. And then 25 years later, K-beauty hits the scene and suddenly everyone is like, we should focus on hydrating and moisturizing the face and wearing sunscreen every day. And I just imagine like steam literally coming out of Paula's ears. Her approach was not trendy until it was. That is not the fault of sheet masks. That is not the fault of K-beauty. So again, I'm not saying that Paula Begoun is a horrible person. I am saying she's kind of a crazy person and maybe not to take everything she says as gospel because there's a lot that she clearly does not understand. But is there any truth to what she says? Are sheet masks just completely useless? Should you skip them so you can floss your teeth and cuddle your partner? Generally, a sheet mask has an opening for the mouth so you could floss while wearing your sheet mask, Paula. The thing that gets lobbed as a criticism at sheet masks is their effects are only temporary. Here's the thing about stuff that's only temporary, it applies to the universe. One day, all of the energy in the universe will be gone and we will have experienced complete and total heat death. Humans as a species will probably have been gone for a few billion years before then, right? Everything is temporary. What matters is the scale of temporariness. As the Bard once said, nothing is forever. Yeah, sheet masks are not something to rely on if you want permanent results, but that's true of most skincare products. With a really good lotion, it's not gonna permanently change your skin. While you're using it, it changes your skin in really beneficial ways, but when you stop using it, it's not like those results aren't going to go away. Another criticism of Paula's is that there's no way that a sheet mask can help things absorb into your skin quickly because products absorb into your skin based on their molecular size and only their molecular size. That is fucking wrong. So not true. There is an entire category of chemicals used in skincare called penetration enhancers. Hey, Beaver, she said penetration enhancer. I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry. And what penetration enhancers, or accelerants as they are called by people that realize that there are perverted weirdos like me out there, is that they increase the rate of absorption of stuff into your skin. That's what they're there for. And guess what is really commonly included in friggin' sheet masks? Penetration enhancers, stuff like butylene glycol and propanediol. I hate that word because it makes me sound like more of a hick than I already am. I sell propane and propanediol. There's all kinds of substances, including ethanol, that can greatly increase the rate of absorption of products into your skin. Okay, but aren't those also included in most skincare products anyway? Why would you actually need a sheet mask? Well, my friends, I will admit that I skipped a bit of the history section for the twist ending. Maybe look at this dermatology textbook that I picked up from the half-price bookstore, which I highly recommend, by the way. You can find tons of books like this that can really teach you a lot about skincare, generally medical skincare conditions, but there's plenty of stuff about cosmetic dermatology too. What have we here? Interestingly enough, we've got a section on dermatitis and eczema. What it says in here is there's a thing called occlusive bandages. A bandage that has been soaked in something is applied over a topical steroid left on top of the skin, and the dampness of the bandage helps the product absorb better. Does that sound familiar to you? Does that sound anything like, I don't know, a fucking sheet mask? Yeah, that's right. Plenty of dermatologists actually recommend wrapping yourself in wet cloth to help shit absorb better into your skin. It also says that it's great for increasing hydration. That is a sheet mask. And the wet wrap or wet sheet therapy, wet packs, whatever you want to call it, these have been around since the 1700s. A time-tested therapy with plenty of actual science backing it up. A wet sheet on your face will absolutely help your skincare products absorb more easily and will fill your skin with hydration. And so now we come to the last part, the true utility of a sheet mask. But let's look at it as just something to do do for your skin. That combination of humectant plus occlusive is incredible at getting hydration into your skin. The upper layers of your skin are just gonna swell with moisture, and you know what that does? It gives you that beautiful glow, that almost translucent look to your skin where all of your cells are just as plumped with moisture as possible. It's gonna shrink wrinkles. It's gonna make texture on your skin temporarily go away because everything has been plumped so much. So yes, it's just a temporary pick-me-up, but what a temporary pick-me-up it is. So many types of skincare products require 60 days to see any results, and that sucks. It's incredibly discouraging to be putting stuff on your face every night faithfully and then not see anything for months on end. So something like sheet masks is an incredible thing that can kind of bridge that gap. You slap it on and instantaneous results. Your skin is gonna be glowy and plump and hydrated and youthful. And that, my friends, is absolutely worth it. I love sheet masks. I use them all the time. Anytime I'm filming, I definitely did a sheet mask as part of my morning routine to make sure my skin is plump and hydrated, and it helps makeup go on top. Another benefit. So in review, sheet masks have a long and kind of weird history. A history that has sometimes been in the toilet, and a history that is sometimes full of incredible medical usage, not ruining the planet, and they are actually useful. But how can you get the most use out of a sheet mask? What if you don't have much time? And where in your skincare routine do you put the sheet mask step? Well, all of those questions and so many more will be answered in part 2, where I go over all the tips and tricks I've learned to maximize your sheet masking experience. So, see you soon, and if you're feeling down about your skin, sheet masks are one of the best pick-me-ups, no matter what some complete and total crazy people might say about it. Bye, y'all!